Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Gabbin with Gavin podcast. I'm drinking some delicious beer from Town Brewery on the show today. You can go to townbrewery.ca, use the promo code Gavin, and get 10% off your order.
Welcome to Gabbin with Gavin.
Gavin Clark is one of the co-owners of Vintage 905 and joins us. Hello, Gavin.
Gavin Clark has been selling vintage clothing in downtown Whitby for over 3 years.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 18 of the Gabbin with Gavin podcast. We're in 1990 studios, we're drinking beer from Town Brewery, and we have got a very special guest joining us today. Anybody who is a fan of the classic TV show Trailer Park Boys is going to recognize my guest right away today, Jacob Rolfe, aka Jacob Collins. Jacob, thanks so much for being here today, man. This is awesome.
Yo, my pleasure, Gavin. Yo, what's up, internet?
Yeah, this is so cool, man. Let's jump right into it. I kind of just want to know what would you say is the biggest difference between Jacob Rolfe and Jacob Collins?
Can I light my joint first?
I don't think it would be an official interview if you didn't.
Because that is a similarity between Jacob Rolfe and Jacob Collins. I would dare say, although Jacob Collins doesn't get to smoke on camera all that much. Like they don't. I guess it's a lot of work for props to roll joints for all the actors constantly. But yeah, Jacob Collins is more dumber than Jacob Rolfe. But otherwise, I mean, there's quite a few similarities, or the similarities might outweigh the differences. You know, one could argue, in part because I'm not like, you know, some kind of like crazy character actor, you know, playing Jacob Collins. It's just me being like nervous and awkward in front of a camera, by and large.
I think that's what adds a whole lot of the charm to the character, though, right? The fact that it's not a polished character and it is so natural. Was acting something you were always interested in? Let's back up and kind of, can you tell us, for anyone who doesn't know the story of how you ended up there?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Boop, boop.
It's a great ash.
Yeah, this is a gift from a fan. It's an ashtray.
Fantastic.
It's great. I can put my nicotine gum on the back of the ashtray, which is handy. I'm getting off the tobacco again for like the 4th time this year, 100th time in my life, perhaps. Anyway, getting into Trailer Park Boys, originally I didn't want to be an actor. Like I did back in grade 7, but after a very harrowing experience, you know, being on stage at acting camp, I realized like there's no way I wanted to be an actor at all. Like it was like mortifying. But doing background stuff for movies is totally different. You're just, you know, like you're not. I mean, you're just hanging out in the background, basically, you know, doing some action at most. And so they were looking for people to do background on a movie in Halifax back in, I guess, 1999 or so. And the makeup artists, or one of the makeup artists on that movie, was the wife of, at the time, of Mike Clattenburg, the original creator of Trailer Park Boys. And they were looking for folks to fill little roles like for the first season. And yeah, I guess like Anne-Marie liked the look of the cut of my jib, and I guess got my info and sent it to Clattenburg.
That's awesome, man. What you've like doing my research for this. I've been on your IMDb and saw you've done background in some pretty awesome films. What movie were you working on when you were discovered?
That was a movie. It's really obscure. I've never seen it. And I've never, you know, even seen it mentioned anywhere practically. It was called Scotland, PA, or is called Scotland, PA. And it's Macbeth set in the 1970s in a town called Scotland in Pennsylvania. But it stars Christopher Walken. It's like big, like, claim to legitimacy. He's one of the sort of ghost characters in this, like, newfangled version of Macbeth. So I bet it'll at least be, worth watching because of him. And who knows, you'll see Jacob Collins in the background somewhere.
Young Jacob Collins.
Dressed like a 70s dude.
That is so cool, man. Can you tell us kind of about any other experiences of background acting? Because like some of the movies you're in have been incredible. History of Violence.
Yeah.
George A. Romero.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like pretty interesting work. At least do it like, once or twice, and then quickly, like if you're doing it a lot, it can become like a slog. Long days on set, you can treat it like cattle and such. But yeah, I did a bunch of zombie work, which was super fun. It was with it was both some stuff where George Romero was directing, and some stuff where it was recreations of his older movies, like the recreation of Dawn of the Dead, for example. But yeah, there was a whole string of them that were filmed in Toronto back in the, I guess, early 2000s when I was going to school in Peterborough nearby. And so yeah, I would like sign up and get the calls to go in. It was so freaky, man, like being around all those zombies. It was actually stomach churning at first. Like the prosthetics are so realistic that it's like, even when you're on set with a bunch of people who have prosthetics on, it's still like, holy fuck, that guy's neck is like burst open, and like the blood looks all wet and fresh, and like you can see the windpipe or whatever, the skull. It was fucking nuts.
That is so cool.
Pretty cool.
That's crazy. So do you almost feel it's like a right place, right time, very I guess serendipitous or whatever they call it, that you were doing background and this led you to Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, total like total chance. And like a long chance, small odds.
It certainly led to some work, right? Like it wasn't this is no short time gig.
Yeah, it's crazy. This year was the 20 years anniversary of I guess the first broadcast of Trailer Park Boys, the series. I never would have guessed it. Like I thought back when the show started, like mockumentaries weren't really around either. So that like sort of rough style of, the season 1 of Trailer Park Boys was just, I was used to really polished, sort of Hollywood style stuff. And it was just like, what the hell is this? This is nuts. And this is going nowhere. I thought, and thank fuck I was wrong.
I've read some stories that back like during those early seasons of filming, people used to really believe it was a documentary about guys living in a trailer park in Nova Scotia, and they would call the police and report the crimes and stuff. It was incredibly rough, and yeah, completely different times.
Yeah, I've certainly heard that and believe it to be true, because even today there's people like some of the fans. I mean, like the fans, God love them. I love them all, but some of them really do believe it's real. I think still.
Yeah. A lot of where's Corey's and Jacob smokes. Let's go. Do you have any problems with like interacting with fans, or?
Oh no.
Everybody's pretty cool for the most part.
Yeah. Like there's been no like big issue that's like made me like scared about it or anything. And it's folks are always nice and respectful. Back when I used to go to bars more, like to be more like people, you get like the drunk person who just sort of can't like, doesn't know when to sort of like give you space. And that can happen in any environment still. But I guess these days I'm just not out in public enough in areas where, I mean, people still do recognize me even with a mask on from time to time, or if I'm out without a mask. But I'm not in environments like living in the city or like out in sort of crowds where shit can get out of control, potentially. Not that it really ever has outside of Trailer Park Boys themed like, events.
What's kind of the most common thing that fans say when they see you? Do you get hit with the Baaam, or
they definitely want a Baaam? Yeah. Yep. And then two, like a lot of people want smokes. I mean, lots of folks just want to express their appreciation and love of the show, but There are, yeah, I get tons of Baaam requests, as you might expect.
And it must be kind of strange in a way, man, that people are showing that they admire you, showing their adoration by calling you a twiggy alien, or like it's an interesting life you've made, man.
It is. It's very surreal. And I reflect on it like, often enough. There was some local guy who was interviewing me more in relation to art stuff just recently. It was for a project for school, but he was like, I think it was maybe on IMDb, but he was like, look, someone here wrote like, fuck off, you alien fuck. He's like, what is this? And he didn't get the reference. He doesn't watch Trailer Park Boys.
That makes it 100 times funnier.
It was
He's reporting it for abuse.
What is this?
Oh, yeah, that's so awesome. I think probably a lot of people remember, you're a huge character in season 7. Some of the later seasons, you're one of the main characters, really becoming Ricky's son-in-law and such. I think maybe people forget you were there from season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about kind of those old days? Because like that stuff intrigues me, the showcase days, and like what was that first kind of day like on set where, yeah, like what was going through your mind?
For like, it was just I was like, on pins and needles, like, sort of nervous and excited. I don't remember like where I must have been picked up from wherever I was living. That's big, but I remember I was in like a minivan going to set with a few, like from wherever our holding was, with a couple other folks, including Bernie, who plays Cyrus. And we were driving by. I guess we were driving to the little convenience store where we shot that scene, and we were shooting by. And outside it, there was a few dudes hanging out near Cyrus's car where he had parked. And he was like, "Oh man, those I'm parked there. Those guys look sketchy." And it turned out it was rock pile that were just waiting for a different scene.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
But yeah, it was. I mean, I was just like, yeah, just like pretty amped up on nerves, and yeah, like the scene happened. I thought, oh man, like I probably fucked that up so bad. There goes my acting career over as quick as it began. And that was about it. It was just the one scene, I guess, back then. Then there was, I guess, a scene in the park as well.
Where everybody's just grabbing
yeah. It was just one day on set though, and and that was it. So I was just sort of in and out, and I was just sort of like, wham bam, like holy fuck, that was awesome, crazy, scary. And I think I probably fucked it up. But it was good. I guess they were happy with it.
Oh, I mean, it certainly seems like it. They had you back. The character you play early on is just so funny to me, man. You got the recurring character, and in the story you have multiple jobs. You're working multiple times a night. When you did that first day, did they tell you like the Jacob character was gonna be multiple jobs, or did they just want you for the one scene in the hardware store? And was there plans to develop Jacob?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that?
I don't remember there being any plan, like at least it expressed to me about like the show going on. I mean, maybe Clattenburg and the guys had that like we're thinking on that kind of level, but it was no. I again, I don't think anybody really knew it was gonna like go beyond the first season. Although, yeah, really that's above my pay grade, I guess. Like I'm so out of the loop in terms of like the decision-making process and how the whole like, I mean, I'm sure it'd be interesting and boring as fuck to know how all that like stuff goes on at like the corporate level. Like the producers, like what's a producer like on a TV show like that when there's all these producers, like I guess it can mean different things. Sometimes it's more honorary, sometimes it's like very functional. I guess often it involves money.
Yeah, yep. That produces movies, as far as I know.
I don't know anything.
So when you were filming, they never said, "Okay, you're playing this job today. We're gonna have you back in a bit to do this." Do you think maybe it was just, "Oh, we got a scene where we need another job. Man, it'd be funny if we got that Jacob guy to come back and play this role."
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think that kind of thing would often be the case. They do script things. But like so often I would get called like so on such short notice that I think they would sort of be like, sort of putting things together uh, on the fly.
Was that a common thing on set? Was there a lot of improv or stuff kind of made up on the fly?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Big time. Like both the boys and other actors like Dunsworth and stuff would, are just good improvisers. And so they would do it sort of anyway. But then often, like, as you go through the script from, episode 1 to 10, little things get changed. And so say like some little things get changed in season 1 or episode 1 or 2, by the time you get to, a later episode, they got to change some stuff as they're just like looking at the scene, like, oh, this doesn't make sense anymore because this happened. And so they'll have to just like figure it out and, do it often on the fly. And the boys are like master improvisers. Like they'll do a different take on their lines, like every time, like, for 6 different takes of a scene, and it'll be, funny and fresh, like each time. It blows my mind. And like quick too. I mean, that's the main thing. It's like quick, not being there thinking about what you're going to say. And then like doing it. They're just, Rob, especially Rob Wells comes to mind. He's just, on fire.
That's
as a Ricky.
This is one I wanted to ask you, but you just talking about Rob there kind of triggered this. Who would you say is the most like their character, and who's kind of the most unlike their character out of the boys, and then maybe like some of the main? Is there anybody that like you're talking about how Rob's a really smart actor and that he very un-Ricky like?
Yeah. He would like Ricky's not known for being like a sharp wit, which is ironic considering that it takes a sharp wit to pull that off. I don't know. I mean, definitely Mike Smith and Bubbles are very different in character, and also like in the in the looks, it's more drastic as well. The way Mike has to like put the glasses on, first put contacts in to correct for the big thick glasses, and then shut his jaw out, I guess. So I guess JP might be the most similar. Like John Paul isn't a criminal schemer, but like he's sort of a big and silent type, kind of similar to Julian, I guess. And who knows? Like maybe John Paul is a schemer.
Hey, yeah, maybe
Secret schemer.
Oh man, that's so fun. I just gotta take a quick sec here and say, man, like you were saying, it's been 20 years Trailer Park Boys has been out, and I've been watching pretty much since the beginning, and this is just so cool. Having a smoke and having a drink with Jacob Collins, man. So thank you again for the time doing this, dude. This is so much fun.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Nice to chat with you.
We were talking about like you had the odd jobs in the early seasons. I think that recurring role is so funny. Do you have maybe favorite scenes or like a favorite job? Anything from those kind of early seasons where you were doing the bit roles?
Gosh, I can't like even remember all the jobs from the early seasons. Like there's a convenience store, there's the hardware store. I like the gas station.
Did that guy just steal something? Yeah, man, he stole a bunch of shit from me. Did he tell you to call the cops? Yeah, he was daring me to, and I called them. They're on their way. Look, my friend has psychological problems. I want you to call the cops back, tell him you fucked up. Man, he stole about $200 worth of shit, like, I don't know. Here, there's $70, that should cover it. I'm gonna get shit from my boss. And there's $20 for calling the cops back. We cool? Yeah, man, we're cool. Thanks, man.
I think I feel like maybe my performance, it was like I was happier with it than maybe than average, and also like it was extra funny. I think Ricky just tells me to fuck off. It's like through the microphone as he's leaving.
That's what we're gonna have to edit it, because that is such a good scene. You get the elusive handshake from Julian when he comes by. Maybe that was the beginning of your love for him. When you
I've got to rewatch the earlier seasons again, or all the seasons for that matter.
That's something I'm super curious about too. Have you watched all the way through? Do you watch it often, or I mean, you just said you need
no, not often at all. Last winter I started watching it again and got up to partway into season 5. But that was the first time in years and years. And I was amazed at how, I mean, I knew it was a good show, but I was like amazed at how much I enjoyed it and how good a show it is. Like,
It is just, it's so hard to explain to somebody who doesn't know just why it is so good and why it is so funny. There's in one of the opening episodes, Ricky describes it as it's cops through the point of view of the criminals. How would you describe Trailer Park Boys?
sorry, say again.
I was just gonna say what do you tell friends or people who want to check out the show when they say, "Hey, what do?" You say, "Oh, I'm on this show where do."
Yeah, for folks who haven't seen it, which is common, of course. Often people are like, "Oh, sorry, I've never seen it." I'm like, "Oh, dude, like, or dudette." It's a show about smoking weed, getting drunk, and doing crimes.
No, you're stoned and you're arrested, Ricky.
For what? Getting stoned?
For stealing. It's all caught on videotape.
And comedy, and it's not for everybody. And swearing, like
Yes.
that was a huge deal. Like swearing was still pretty much not allowed on, like, or there were still, it was pretty taboo still when Trailer Park Boys started. And I guess it still is to some degree, but they certainly pushed the envelope in that respect. And some people, it just totally turns them off. Like they can't handle the cussing.
Sure. I mean, it is pretty like in your face right away. You're gonna hear some if you tune into Trailer Park Boys. Was that an issue for you guys? Did you ever have problems with? I forget what like the Canadian FCC is called.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I'm sure, right?
I don't know if there's problems with swearing per se, but I think there were issues with the FCC. I think they must have cleared it. Like it would be pretty risky putting 1,000 fucks in a show without it, like knowing you're going to be okay with that, like to get it, be able to broadcast it. But when it was first in the States, it was like it was edited. I'd love to actually watch an edited episode. It would just be unwatchable, basically.
We in Canada here. It's funny I say that like you're not from here. A lot of our Zoom guests aren't from Canada, but I remember it being on. It would come on Showcase in the afternoon at night when the new episodes would come out. They were uncensored, but it would come on say like a 5 o'clock replay or something. After school, I'd watch it. It'd be censored. It was the weirdest thing.
Oh, it would be, eh?
You just.
I wonder if I've seen that. Huh. Like would all the swearing be?
Yes, it was like all of it, and it was just it was like the hard sense of the beep. So it was like it was hard to tell sentences from.
Yeah. I think it must be. I remember hearing about one FCC complaint where it was about Ricky ashing on Trinity's head when she was a kid. And I don't think it was intentional necessarily, but it might have been. But it was a complaint, and apparently it was dismissed by the FCC. Like it wasn't. They didn't.
Oh my goodness. The Ricky Trinity relationship is just one of my favorite things in the show. Where he lets her drive the car, but only in the park, and because he was drinking.
Her asking him for a smoke. Give me a smoke. What,
Yeah,
put on the patch.
Guess I'll have to give you half.
You took the last patch?
Well, I just needed it last night, and here, I'll give you half of it.
Yeah.
You can't smoke while you're on the patch. Oh my god, that's so good. Do you have like it's gotta be, for me? It's gotta be Ricky. Do you have a favorite character of the show?
Yeah, it's Ricky comes to mind at first. I mean, Mr. Leahy is also, of course, a masterful character, but Ricky has just done so well, and it's a character that you just don't see represented, or like many of his character traits just aren't traits you see represented in like media much. Like just that totally reactive, can never admit he's wrong, like dumbass dude who's ultimately just trying to sort of fit in, and is also like a sensitive like teddy bear or something like that at times.
Yeah.
Stone teddy bear.
There is it's funny, like even just watching a lot of stuff, like getting ready for this, and just because I watch all the time, to be honest too. Like a lot of the stuff that you were talking about on the surface, the swearing and like all that. There's a lot of layers to Trailer Park Boys. Like it really is kind of about family and friendship. And do you find that, or am I just smoking here?
Yeah. I mean, that's that's a theme in there. Maybe it's the dominant theme, but yeah. I mean, that's like ultimately sort of getting along and getting over differences. I mean, all within like the limits of writing a half-hour comedy where you got to have a constant protagonist and like blah blah blah, things going wrong or whatever, conflicts to like drive the plot along. But yeah. I mean, I think it's not like ultimately has bad messages. I think it has good messages in there as well.
It is layered.
Maybe mostly good, maybe all good. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I do think you kind of got to scratch away at the surface a little bit. Like you see all the swears and the smokes up front, but it is
definitely. It's not simply about like, crime is good. Not that I mean, I think it's pretty obvious the way things work out on the show. That's like not what they're trying to teach people.
And let me ask you, we were talking about your jobs, and that one job you had was working in the movie theater during the Big Dirty. What was filming the movie like? Was that a big difference day to day to the TV show? Like it looks like there's obviously more production to it. Could you tell us about working there?
I think I was just in one day there, like in the lobby of a theater somewhere in like Dartmouth or some mall somewhere. But dude, I was so hungover, it was fucking brutal. I don't drink that much, so it's rare, but I was drinking like martinis and shit the night before, like stuff I also never drink. And I had a little like room in a portable trailer that was my like dressing room. I just remember lying in there just like feeling like shit, and having to like trudge over to set to like do my scenes. But that was rough. It was but yeah, it was bigger production. Like we were in in a cinema, which was pretty like a bigger deal than just shooting in the park and shooting down at like the local mall, like strip mall, which is what we normally did, not the like big fancy mall. Like
oh man, that's so funny, dude. We're gonna have to go back and watch The Big Dirty and pay special attention to your scene and notice that you were hungover. Thank you for pulling through, and because you're a great part of the movie.
Yeah, I've never actually seen the movie, and I remember I fucked up my action too. I was supposed to like drop my mop at a certain time, just showing I was like a total idiot. And on one of the key takes, I like didn't do it at the right time or fucked up. And I remember like Clattenburg just coming and being like, "What happened? What did you do?" And I was just like, I'm an idiot or whatever. Like, but I was hungover and just like barely functional. Oh man,
that's awesome. That I feel like again, like that's part of the charm of the movie, right? And the show.
Maybe it worked out for the best.
Do you?
Nothing worse than being hungover, and then nothing worse than being hungover at work. Holy crap!
And you're on a pretty important day too. You must have been sweating.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's like, what an idiot. That's one of the things with drinking. Like every time before you're hungover, you're drinking so much. You're drinking more than you should have, obviously, and like somehow your brain doesn't notice that and like either stop you or at least drink more water or something. It's crazy how that can happen like so regularly. Thankfully, it's only like once, maybe twice a year for me, and even less during COVID now.
Well, that brings me to a question I gotta ask: who on set is the biggest drinker, biggest smoker? Who likes to party out of the boys?
I think it's got to be Smith. I think he's like, I mean, at least historically, he was the biggest party animal. Like he owned like clubs and stuff. I mean, all the boys like together, and maybe also they have individual interests, have like restaurants and some establishments still in Halifax and maybe beyond. But yeah, I think like many days on set would be like, "Where's Smith?" We're supposed to be starting the first scene in 5 minutes. Then you'd hear in the distance the vroom, vroom, vroom of his Maserati as he came cruising in late, but only slightly to work to hit the hit the set, and always professional, in front of the camera, of course.
Oh man, a Maserati too. That's awesome, dude. That's pretty good.
From watching like the I guess not so much the podcast, more maybe the mailbag. Like I get the impression, and then just from from knowing the boys, they aren't 24/7 like stoners,
Yeah.
at all. Like they're all family guys now. And so they might have partied harder, when they were younger. No doubt they did. But yeah, they're very much unlike their characters in that respect these days, I dare say. Although, I mean, there's definitely been some trailer park boys dancing on tables at nights out and staff parties and such. They could let loose.
Hell yeah. This is awesome. Yeah, these are the answers we need on the Gavin podcast. Oh man. So let's talk about where things really like stepped up for you on the show. Season 7, correct?
That's when the Collinses moved into the park.
Hell yeah, man. Can you tell us about that? Between season 6 and 7, like did they let you know your role is going to be increasing, and were you nervous, or just tell me all about it, man? This is awesome.
It was pretty soon. It was like things just came together not that long before we started shooting, and they didn't know what. I guess I knew my role was going to be expanded. Corey and Mike Jackson had left the show, and so they were looking for, I guess someone to sort of fill that type of role, jail cover. And oh shit, no, I'm getting season 7 and then season 8 mixed up. Sorry, because there's the big long hiatus, and then season 8 was also that was a fuck, man. I think I was in Vietnam when the producers were trying to get in touch with me. It was actually Barry Dunn, who plays Ray, Ricky's dad on the show, who was calling my mom's house trying to get in touch with me, and she was like, I don't know if she was sending me emails or what. I guess she must have been. What year would that have been? Yeah, we had email in like 2006, 2007. Anyway, yeah, it was out of the blue pretty much, and I was just because I had worked. I got in little days on the show from season 1 to season 5, and then in season 6, I had no I wasn't in that season, and I sort of thought like, oh, they've written me out finally, or just dropped me. And so it was a total shock all of a sudden to get contacted for season 7, where I was like, do you want to do this? And we're expanding the role. But yeah, I was totally in big time. Although I definitely felt I was, in over my head at times, before and during. But yeah, it was awesome, man. It's like total like surreal experience, basically. I remember I was in Hanoi, like walking around kind of stunned, like, what the fuck is going on? I gotta go back to Canada for Trailer Park Boys. We're filming.
Man, okay, this is crazy because I don't know which way to go right now, because there's two things I want to talk more about, like season 7 and the whole Julia lookalike season. It's so funny, man. But you were saying you were in Vietnam. Like you've traveled some crazy places I've seen, like Peru, India, Vietnam.
Yeah.
You're very spiritual. You're very into meditation and stuff like that, correct? Like tell me about some of the places you traveled in, like that whole journey.
Yeah. I mean, I like checking out, cool shit, going to new places. I also like not being in Canada during the winters when it's like cold and shitty here. So yeah, traveling fits the bill. So like I've traveled to lots of different parts of the world that are less expensive than here. Like I can't really afford, like my with my lifestyle to go to places like Europe, which I'd love to do sometime. But so yeah, I've traveled to. I first went to India right after high school when I was like 19, and then I've done like. In my past sort of 15 years or so, I've like traveled to India, Central America, and like South America. And I've also been around other parts of Asia a little bit, Thailand and Cambodia. I guess that was more like back. I should really try to do a timeline of my life now. I've been alive long enough that it's like pretty much all a blur. And I smoke enough weed. It's like hard to sort out. But yeah, I went to like Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia shortly after high school. And then again, like maybe in the early 2000s or something like that.
What was it that made you choose these places? They're not typical.
Because they're inexpensive. There's like they're interesting culturally, like cool stuff to see. Often like good food is a big factor. I mean, always, like everywhere I go, there is good food. So it's always, that's always is a factor. But like places like India, where it's like, I guess more of a driving factor because it's like such an awesome cuisine, especially awesome by my taste bud standards. And then also things like, I guess for meditation, you could it's there's lots of opportunities to do that kind of thing in India, certainly, especially.
Well, I heard on another interview you did, you actually spent time like in a temple, like with Buddhist monks. You see, you're very into meditation of that.
Yeah. Like I don't meditate much these days. Like I don't have a daily practice, but yeah, I've definitely been into meditation a lot, and to some degree, I've sort of learned some techniques from it, which I use in my day-to-day life without doing a sort of formal sitting. But yeah, it's interesting and like awesome. And if you're looking for something to do for a winter, sort of kill some time, so to speak, like there's worse ways to do it. I first got into it, when I was like sort of coming out of a crappy relationship and was like pretty, unsettled mentally. And I guess someone had recommended a book that I read, and my mom had also given me some other book about meditation like years ago. I was just like, what the heck, meditation? Like, what is this? Deep breathing, relaxing? Like, this makes no sense to me. Or is it, sure, whatever, deep breathing. But then whenever I read some other book that described it separately or differently, that like made sense to me. And I was like, oh, huh. And I got interested in it, and then finally went to a 10-day meditation retreat. That was here in Canada, actually. You don't have to go to India to learn to meditate. And it was 10 days. It was Vipassana. It was a retreat. I don't know if you've heard of like these Vipassana centers. It's a technique, but then there's also these centers that are just called Vipassana centers.
Okay.
But it's a Buddhist technique, or based on a Buddhist technique. And it was 10 hours for a day for 10 days of just sitting there, like paying attention to your breath, which was the most challenging thing, but then like one of the most rewarding things like I've ever done, because it broke the ice. But like it's not something I ever would have like endured without being in an environment where there was like, sort of like a boot camp where you couldn't just not do it. Like someone was going to make you go and like meditate or at least sit there and pretend. So you may as well like, try, I guess. I mean, I guess there is a lot of pretending going on as well, but oh my God, what a trial, but so rewarding.
Did you say 10 hours a day for 10 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. And as far as like there's intensive retreats, like people who are into meditation, like 10 hours would be a light day. But yeah, I mean, that's like for a normal human being, that's totally nuts. Like when I was at the Buddhist monastery in Sri Lanka, I was just sort of left to my own devices. Like there was practically no oversight for us, like lay practitioners. It was me and a few other guys. My neighbor was this guy, Jean from France. He was covered in tattoos from like neck to feet, and he had to keep them all covered because it was like a no-no amongst the monks. Anyway, there was no one being like, you got to meditate for 10 hours a day. Like we're watching you. So it was really hard even to like try to do 6 hours a day. That was my like, that would be a pretty good day for me there as a benchmark, but that was tough. Anyway, I think I'm maybe like starting to like go off on a tangent.
No, I think I find this so interesting. Like we were talking about, like which characters aren't like which actors aren't like their characters. And honestly, just hearing that that's pretty different. And I think like I got to think people who are tuning in are going to find that pretty interesting. I heard your ka-ching there. Was that an Etsy sale?
Yeah, that or maybe or Shopify. I'm not sure what's that.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's funny.
I turned off the sound, but I guess Etsy just like breaks through.
That's hilarious. Hey, that's congratulations.
That's good. Yeah, we're getting close to. You might know this better than me. When's like the mail cutoff for sending shit down to the States? Do you think? Most of my prints, I send them letter mail, so it's not necessarily like parcel mail necessarily. But we're getting close, I reckon.
Yeah, I just try not to guarantee anything.
Nobody's. Oh yeah. Oh man, no guarantees at this point.
It's that's a real crapshoot at this point. Let's jump back into Trailer Park Boys in a sec. Let's talk about what that notification was for. Yeah, you're an artist. It's another thing. People, you do meditation, and you're an artist. People might not have expected this from Jacob.
Well, that's for a Two Smokes Let's Go print.
Beautiful.
To Jacksonville, Florida.
Love it. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your art. For anybody wondering what a Two Smokes Let's Go print is.
Yeah, my day job, like what I do most of the time, I'm not slacking off or chilling out in India or somewhere, is I draw and make screen prints of my drawings here at my house in Canada. I've got a studio here. I'll just do a little tilt here to I'm sitting in one living room here, and I got like an actual functional, semi-functional print studio next door where I do screen prints. You must be familiar with screen printing.
I'm a little bit familiar, but kind of, can you walk us through it? Because I think screen printing is kind of a misunderstood term. Like you're not just putting a piece of paper in and printing it out your laser printer.
No, it's not looking at your computer screen and hitting print. It's a process. It's similar to stenciling, where you build up the image on paper by hand, one color at a time, with a stencil, quote unquote. And the stencils, it's a screen where parts of the screen are masked off and parts of it are open. And so when you squish ink over the screen with a piece of rubber called a squeegee, a piece of rubber with a handle, a thin layer of the ink is deposited. It goes through all the parts of the screen that are open, and a thin layer is put down on your surface, be it like paper. In my case, I just work on paper, but like t-shirts are often made that way. And or a mug. There's industrial applications as well, like circuit boards, at least used to be printed that way. These days, it's probably some kind of like robot. I'm guessing. I got no fucking idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, so each layer here. So here I got. Here, let's do this. Let's do this one because the colors are more contrasty. So this little print. Oh yeah, nice. This little Bubbles Elf print. So every layer of every color on this print was from a different screen, and they get like built up one at a time on the paper to make the image. So this is a 3-color print with 3 layers, and then like parts of it, like on the shading on the Bubbles Elf's little tunic, there is the red printed over top of the blue, and so it mixes to get that purple. So like some inks that are transparent can do that. Other opaque inks will just print right on top of each other.
So you're coming up with the original sketches. You're actually screening. You're squeegeeing the ink onto each piece. Like they're all hand done, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I've got a couple of awesome ones, man, that you sent us. We've had a Julian inspirational quotes in the back.
Yeah, that's great. Has it been working for you?
It stays on my desk. It's actually a great, and then you got some awesome stuff, man. I've got the Christmas card, and then
there's a little Christmas series. I couldn't help but do a sexy Julian. I don't know if I sent one of those to you.
I got $12 firms.
Oh yeah. The Ricky Grinch clause. Taking a dump.
And then there's some of them are Trailer Park Boys themed. Some of them are just little tie-ins, like the kitty's tooth.
Yeah,
Like that is
Yeah, I do like most of my print sales these days are Trailer Park Boys themed. Although I do just my own like non Trailer Park Boys drawings as well, like which are mostly sort of trippy, surreal, like characters in some kind of trippy environment, or just like weed or drugs related stuff that isn't Trailer Park Boys themed.
very cool, man. I just want to ask real quick, where can people find this? I want to put it up on the screen when we edit this.
Oh yeah, check out my website is Baaam.ca. So BAAM.ca. And yeah, check it out.
If anybody watching, if you got a friend who's a Trailer Park Boys fan, if you are, get yourself a hand screen printed piece of art from Mr. Jacob Collins himself. You can't beat it for as far as gifts go, and it's really like the card stock is really good, the quality's awesome. It's almost hard to tell on the site that it's as high quality as it is because you can't really see it until you're holding it, and I couldn't recommend it anymore.
Yeah, I've made some like process videos showing sort of like how I do it. I guess that's mostly on my Instagram. And I haven't done one in a while, but I need to sort of like make it clear somehow, like the process and sort of how nice they are.
They're great.
And then I also try to keep like prices affordable for like regular, like whatever, like blue collar folks. So yeah, so like that, like a nice like an 8x10 print, like something like this size. Here's another print. For example, this is a giant. This is one of my Land of the Airheads prints, where there's a little Corey peeking out of the top of Ricky's like cavernous noggin. But this is like I print this size 8x10 is like most of them are $25, including shipping. Although I'm going to be increasing prices, I think, a bit in the new year. I'm just going to do it a bit. I'm going to make it not including shipping, basically, until you like pay like $40 or $50. Just like change that kind of structure a bit, and maybe increase the $25 price tag to $30. I don't know, some sort of boring stuff like that. Nothing major. I still want to keep it affordable for regular folks.
As Randy once said, a man's got to eat.
A man's got to eat. I do. I've got a cat's got to eat print based on Randy, but I've got so many prints now. It's insane. Like I must have like 50 Trailer Park Boys themed prints or something. I'm making them faster than I'm selling them. I think I've got so much stuff in my studio. It's insane.
I am curious. Have you always been an artist? Were you like have you always been drawing?
Not really. I mean, I was always kind of a doodler to some degree, but it wasn't until after university. Like I went to university late, and I took politics, like just like out of curiosity, sort of learning political theory, philosophy. And after that, I think I was like in my late 20s when I was coming out of college, and I moved. That's when I got a place out in St. John's, Newfoundland, and I built a basement studio and was printing like that. That's where I sort of learned to screen print. I'd done a little bit here and there previously, but that's where I cut my chops. And I was working at a restaurant part-time, so I was sort of like able, supporting myself, like doing a couple of things. And I guess a bit of Trailer Park Boys would have been happening around those, in those days as well, still helping me get along. And so yeah, I guess like 2007 was when I first started to pull my like first screen prints on paper.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it is. I thank you for the pieces you sent me. I absolutely love them. That Julian quote is staying on my desk forever. And it is just such high quality stuff, and it's super creative. Like, and they're all hand done. So we'll throw the address up again. It's gonna be in the YouTube description. Guys, go get yourself a print if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan. You will not regret it.
So yeah, they're nice, and you can get top tip. You can get frames for like $3.50 at the dollar store.
There you go.
Half decent frames. Just don't get them wet; they'll peel apart. But otherwise, top quality.
I love it. Let's jump back into Trailer Park Boys, man. Before we were talking about the awesome art you do. We were talking about the journey of you getting to season 7, where you're going to become one of the main characters on the show. Season 7, I think, is made like some of the early seasons are incredible. Season 7 might be the peak of Trailer Park Boys, and you're one of the big driving forces behind that. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was nuts. Like I wasn't, where was I living? I was living in St. John's in Newfoundland at the time. And yeah, I had basically moved to Halifax for a couple of months or a month and a half. And I was living there. I was dating a girl in Halifax. We just moved there at the time. So that was convenient. But they'd also dyed my hair black and I had a big black mustache. So I felt like a alien among men or something. No pun intended.
I just gotta ask her real quick. What was that like? Like, how was that weird to explain? Like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm trying to. My character thinks this guy is really cool.
Oh my God, that's Jacob Collins. Julian, he's rocking your look hard. What the fuck is he wearing? He's got on a black t-shirt, a black goatee, and he's rocking a goofy little.
It was super weird. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't. I think at first maybe I would like just try to get ahead of it and explain it to people, but then after a while, just realize that hey, no one knows me, or people don't know me. I don't need to explain why I might look like I've got a strange style going on. I mean, people have Halifax, like anywhere, is full of all kinds of characters and freaks. And I didn't look that, that freakish in the broad scheme of things necessarily. But yeah, it was weird. I mean, just having a mustache for me was strange.
Did you know, sorry? Did you know going into the season it was going to be the like the Julian lookalike season?
No.
Oh no.
No, one of the ongoing things with the show, and I don't know if it's intentional or them just being unorganized. Maybe it's a mix of both, like them being unorganized to some degree and them keeping me on my toes and not telling me in advance what's going on with my character. But yeah, they often keep things on the DL. For season 7 and the whole turning into Julian, I'm not sure if they kept that secret from me or not. But what they did, like that, when I had to get my head shaved and turn red as an alien, that one they told me, I think, like the day before, basically. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, it was the production manager. It's like, oh, I sent you some scripts, but before you read them, okay, now you're gonna see that all your hair falls out and you turn red. Now, meant to talk to you about that. But hey, I'm a professional.
Oh my God, that was just cool. Thanks, guys. Oh my God, that's crazy. That blows my mind to think it was the day before, because that's you committed to the act.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like season 7 was like all the other seasons up until then. I was just doing a couple of days, 1 to 3 days per year on set. So it was always like, I'd be doing my like non-acting work, and then boom, all of a sudden be flown in and be like, holy fuck, here I am on set, and be kind of like overwhelming. And then boom, then it's done, like before I, get settled at all. And so it was nice finally in season 7 being on set, like, 20 days like of shooting. And so really getting like much more comfortable in front of the camera. And like I think I sort of got over my or like to at least to some degree my sort of stage fright, or like that kind of thing. It can crop up to some degree still, like now and then, but yeah, it was like get over it, or like life's just going to be very, very difficult. I don't know, somehow or another I managed to. And yeah, it was a super fun summer. I was living like downtown Halifax, and it's like cool, like sort of like condo apartment they rented for me. It was awesome.
Man, that
overlooking the harbor.
That's so cool. Do you have favorite moments, like for episodes, even just scenes? Like there's so much good stuff from the mustard glass, or what's your highlights for that season? Like you must have so many memories from that.
Yeah, like so many crazy things. Like all the stuff in the forest was pretty fun. Although, well, I mean, I guess it was memorable at times, fun at times, like pretty trying. Like long nights and like cold. Like we were shooting in the rain at times. I remember that being like just being freezing cold in the rain. Just like the characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really translated.
That was not method acting, or sorry, that was method acting. Oh man, I got some weed clogging up the filter area on this joint. Oh, we got emergency triage going on here. It's not like kind of rolling out the way it should. All right, I'll just slowly work on that off screen.
Yeah, man. We'll work through it together.
Oh, it's coming out. All right.
There you go, everybody. It's coming out. I'm
just gonna tear it off.
We'll keep you updated. We'll make sure Jacob gets no during this.
My heavens, it's like I've rolled 10,000 joints, and it's amazing how many of them still become difficult.
I am curious, man. Have you always been a smoker?
Yeah, ever since the first time I smoked my first time smoking was hash in grade, I think it was grade 12. Hold on, how's it? Let me just mark my years of high school. No, grade 11 it would have been. So it was a bit later than like a lot of kids, and maybe kids these days or or whatever. But yeah, ever since pretty much the first time smoking it, was like, oh yeah,
hell yeah.
It was only hash though, basically. The first time I smoked it was weed. I got it through Neil at work, and then after that, for the whole year or two, it was only hash that in Ottawa. This would have been in the like early 90s, 92, 93 kind of thing. But yeah, I love weed.
Yeah, weed is tight, as we say around here.
I mean, I could definitely overdo it. It could be, a balance is good, and sometimes a balance is not kept. But yeah, I've learned to live with it by and large.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a very like creative style of art in that too. Like it's probably something that helps you get creative.
Yep, totally.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. If I wasn't high, I don't see what the point of drawing would be.
There you go.
I mean, that's partially a joke, but
to all you aspiring artists checking this out, I mean, there's no point if you're not getting high. Oh,
no, I mean, I do tend to draw, or get high to draw. Like if I got some drawing to do, but yeah, it's not a hard rule.
Yeah. Oh man, hand in hand. I've got to ask you, I would dare to say my favorite, but it was the very first episode I ever saw. Anybody like who knows me or like watches this knows I love pro wrestling. I love it. The very first episode of Trailer Park Boys I saw and like it just sucked me in was Green Bastard. I want to talk to you about your role on that, because that was where you wrestled with Trevor, and like, what was that day like, man? And who wins in a real wrestling match?
That was crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, that day on set was crazy. It was a big day with lots happening. I don't know if I was in any other days that year or not, but yeah, it was like a big day with lots of extras, and they built the wrestling arena out of like actual found mattresses. And
what, that's for real?
It was not safe. That thing, like I was shocked at how unsafe that was, and there was zero choreography for me and Trevor's fight. Like it would have been nice. I mean, there's so many moving parts in a TV production. I certainly wouldn't be able to do it all, but that was one of the things that was overlooked. And so me and him sort of faced off and just like kind of like squared a bit. We might have done a bit that got cut. Like I feel like how it is in the episode is so quick. It's and kind of lame. I just end up going down basically and like getting pinned or like subdued by Trevor. But I basically I just wanted to have a controlled fall in the middle of the arena, not near any of the like posts, which were dangerous and exposed and sharp, or the clotheslines were just totally not going to support anything thing going against him at all. And we could have easily, like, no one told us not to. They probably told us to be careful, but like it just seemed like a dangerous situation to me.
Oh my god, dude, the green.
But
Sorry, please keep going, please.
But I wish we would have at least done some kind of like, one of us flipped the other one or something a little more spectacular than the like. And I also felt that Trevor had seniority on the show. Maybe I'm making this up now. I don't know, but I feel that he sort of should have won, like being like a more major character. And so I just like, rather than see what was going to go with an actual square off, ended up sort of buckling underneath him and lost the fight.
So what you're saying is real life, you put him on his back.
No, and in real life, I'm not sure that would be the case at all. I think we're both not fighters. So I think it would be pretty even. It would be a luck of the draw.
Oh my god, man. This is incredible. That is one of my favorite episodes of television, like in just across the board. So to hear these behind the scenes stories that the ring is really made of found mattresses. There was no choreography.
Oh.
This is blowing my mind right now. I'm geeking out, dude.
Yeah, and like I don't have like a very like I can handle a certain amount of like grossness and yuck as long as it doesn't involve bugs or like mold, I guess. Anyway, but I was like, oh man, these mattresses are like pretty. I don't really want any unnecessary like contact with these things.
Yep.
I remember too, like my feet going through, like there were gaps, like to they had to tile them together to make the arena, and they weren't like sealed at the top in any kind of way. So it was there were some gaps.
I believe it.
As well, yeah. Yeah. If you can believe that.
Oh my god, man, this is so much fun.
That was a fun. Like that was like that day too. Ricky flipped the car with the front loader. It was like the trailer park boys supervisor captain guy who was going to get the award to Leahy. You want some candy?
We look into my eyes. Yeah.
The
left hook comes out.
That's right.
Oh man, I'm serious when I say
that was exciting, man. Like whenever there's construction equipment flipping over cars, it's a fun day on set.
Yeah, hell yeah. I was watching your YouTube channel getting ready for this, and you do you have I think it's a 4-part series where you're doing Trailer Park Boys Q&A. And one thing you mentioned there, and I wrote down a note. I'm like, I gotta ask him to touch up on this. You said you mentioned more than a couple of times you were almost maimed or killed on set. I gotta know about that.
Or at least injured. I thought of making a list. I always forget about like stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that time I forgot about that. I should make a list and I have them all. But yeah, what do you want them alphabetically or chronologically or? No, I don't.
From least to most dangerous.
Like one recently was I saw it because there was a little video on Instagram, but it's when Ricky's teaching the kids hockey in the trailer when I guess the air conditioning's broken. And he checks me.
Yeah.
He body checks me out the window.
Good clean hit.
And so yeah, I did my own stunts. I almost always do my own stunts on that show, and as minor as they are, I guess some of them are a little more than I can handle. And so that one was one where doing it once was fine, doing it twice was fine, but the nature of TV stuff is you do multiple takes, and so half dozen times, having to go out the window and flop down onto a mat and then like flop down onto another one ended up like, sort of jarring my back a little bit. And like, it was thrown out, I had a minor sort of, back issue after that, which is a recurring, issue for me anyways. But that like threw it out, being like having to like tumble that many times out of the trailer. But it looked really good. I was impressed with how it looked, the way they cut it together.
This is blowing my mind. That's you actually taking the check. That stunt looks that stunt looks so outrageous. Like
they had it doesn't really show up in the shot, but they had put this hinging plexiglass window on. So when Ricky he kind of scoops me up and like kind of dumps me out kind of gently. It's not like a hard check. And I like, and so I go out through this window, which hinges out, and then I fall down onto some mats, which are just outside of camera. And then I think I had to roll off those onto another level down. And so there was no actual breaking glass.
That
And he didn't actually like give me a nice little like stab afterwards with his stick.
he says a spear or a slash after a good clean hit. That's insane. I can't believe that. Did you do I gotta ask now, you said you touched on it, a lot of your own stunt work? Like,
I mean, I was sort of joking when I said that. I mean, I guess some of them would be, stunts. That one was a bit more stunty than others, but yeah. I mean, I would do, just like basic falls, I guess. But I mean, I'm not trained in doing that shit at all.
oh my God.
But yeah. Like sometimes they would have stunt people, like a stunt crew on. It wouldn't just be for my stunt normally. There was something else too, but they would like come and advise me like this and that. Sometimes it'd be super obvious advice, like why are they even telling me? But other times it would be good, I guess, how to fall without hurting yourself. I guess if it worked, then it was good advice. If it didn't, then or if they weren't there, then that's when I hurt myself. Oh man.
Do you have a favorite moment on the show? I know it's a simple question you probably get asked all the time. Is there something you look back on during your time on this and you say, I'm super proud of that?
Yeah, there's no nothing comes to mind as like a top.
Just kind of the whole experience.
I mean, there's been so many sort of like awesome and crazy times from, from like being dyed red with my head shaved to, like all the crazy crap that went on over the years. The trials and tribulations of Jacob Collins. But yeah, like it's kind of I mean, not a blur, it's more of it's like a big tapestry of awesomeness and madness. But yeah, there's not like a specific favorite time. Like season 7 was a great like era that was just like, it was with Richard Collins, John Dunsworth, and just like being involved so intricately in the plot line. It was like, yeah, it's almost like a dream.
So cool.
I mean, it is a dream, I guess. It was a dream.
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be the best job in the world. It's so cool for you, man. Two people you did touch on there, John Dunsworth and your TV father, Richard Collins. Two amazing actors and just awesome characters for the show. I was just hoping you could, share a cool memory, maybe something on set, or just kind of tell us about those guys and just kind of keep the memories living on.
Yeah. Those two guys, great characters in the show and great, both total characters in real life as well. Both John and Richard are super gregarious, like larger than life personalities. And then, Richard, larger than life human being as well, with that massive gut.
They tried to kill us, Jimmy. They did. They're dirty fucking cops.
Jesus, shut the fuck up, Phil.
Richard was super fun on set. Like he was sort of this big lumbering presence who was sort of hard to control for like, or was like took skill and nuance to control for the director, the handlers. But like every scene with him is just like so perfect and amazing. Like it's like how it worked out. He's such a like a bit of a loose cannon, but so funny. And then John Dunsworth, like, my heavens, like he's like a classical actor who, I mean, I always think about how he was a teetotaler, at least in his later life, like during the shooting of Trailer Park Boys. And so all that, drunkenness was totally acting. And which is very hard to do. Oh man, I had to be drunk for one scene in the movie Don't Legalize It, and I couldn't do that at all.
Please tell us about that.
It's when I'm supposed to go on the road with the boys in Don't Legalize It, the movie. But then Richard, Phil Collins, doesn't let me go, cracks down, and so I have to like go and tell the boys the bad news. And so like I stumble into there trailer, and I'm supposed to be super drunk, but it was just I found it hard to like like slur and sort of like be drunk, act drunk in a convincing way. I didn't. I think I don't know if I actually saw the final movie, but I saw the rushes of it. I think it was like I realized how hard it was to be a masterful drunk. And Leahy, oh my god, the drunkest character in TV and movies, I would say.
The king of it. Yeah. I know this just from being such a huge fan of that, but for anybody who doesn't, and maybe they didn't catch you saying it there, he didn't drink in his later years, which is just mind blowing.
He definitely was a wacky character. But like sometimes I would wonder if he was on like a small dose of psychedelics,
like microdosing. Yeah.
From time to time. But I think often he was just sort of getting into character. I think he sort of was a method actor. I don't think I know how to use the term method actor properly. But like, he would really get into character. So he wouldn't actually drink to be drunk, but he would like really get into character.
I don't know where I felt like I get a little drink around here, do you, bud?
Is that method acting?
Hey, it makes sense to me. It's a method of acting.
I think if he actually got drunk, that would be
yeah, where you're living it. Yeah, but I know what you mean. He was a committed actor.
Man, that's just what real actors do: get into character before they do it in front of the camera. Although sometimes people just can like totally turn it on a snap, like as well. That's which also Dunsworth would do all the time as well. But yeah, all the time he would have to be like drunker than he was, in the previous season or the previous scene or whatever, and somehow he would pull it off.
So cool. That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that, because yeah, those are two amazing characters to the show, and rest in peace to both those guys. Thank you for sharing that, man. I want to end it on a fun one. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh no, I was just saying, rest in peace. Smoke one puff for the boys.
Absolutely. Hopefully everybody watching's doing the same. Let's end it on a fun one here. What is the history of Baaam?
Bam!
Man, yeah, I don't know. I think it was just like it wasn't really part of pop culture much before that, but like it was here and there. Like I think in Dazed and Confused, for example, a movie from the early 90s, mid 90s.
I think it's gotta be 80s, right?
I think it was made in the 90s, late 90s, but
based on the 80s?
70s.
Okay. Okay.
But I think there's a dude in there that does some BAMs, for example, although I could be wrong about that, but it was just something Clattenburg pulled out of, I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. Oh, nice glass.
Oh,
you drinking out of that the whole time?
The whole time, yep. I got my Trailer Park Boys glass.
the nice 2-liter.
We got a beautiful Town Brewery sponsory. I don't know. Hopefully they like the 2-liter glass.
Oh yeah. Nice. I got a T-shirt from them.
Yeah, they're awesome, man.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I haven't tried the beer. I don't know if it's available here in Scotia.
Well, I'll send you a couple.
Oh, cool, awesome. Beer Ogram.
Yeah. Yes. So
thanks for this Rolling Stone T-shirt.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bruce Springsteen T-shirt, by the way.
Absolutely.
The boss. I don't know his tours that well. Do you remember what tour this was? Are you familiar with?
I think Wrecking Ball, right?
It sounds. Yeah, Wrecking there. It's right on the front. Wrecking Ball. Yeah, I never saw Springsteen, but my dad used to play him when I was growing up a lot, like on the record player. So
that's awesome.
Born in the USA.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Let me know some favorites too, and we'll be sure to get you a tee from the store in the future.
Awesome. Do you ever get like Max? You ever see Max Webster?
Yeah. It's not a ton of merch, but when you said that, I made a note of. We get a Max Webster.
That's one of the ones I mentioned.
It's all you if we get one for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Kim Mitchell fan, but I do like some Kim Mitchell.
The Mitchell tie-ins in the show are so funny.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that.
It is, and honestly, it's such a brilliant show, man. Even just all the music tie-ins. Give me an R. I'll give you a fucking R. Oh man, I'm gonna tail off and just say quotes from the show at you all night if we don't cut it off here. But honestly, Jacob, man, thank you so much for coming on today, dude. This has been so much fun. I'm a huge fan of your work.
It's been a pleasure, man. Great and easy and fun talking with you.
Hell yeah, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I've probably told you about 6 times I've been geeking out doing this. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it like crazy, and hopefully we'll do a part 2 one day.
I'm down.
I love it.
Yeah, thanks for watching and listening, everybody out there.
Absolutely. Do you want to just hit everybody with where they can find you really quick? We'll be sure to tag it all in the YouTube video.
I guess Instagram is a main one, and Jacob Collins. Oh man, here, yeah, you better put it up on the screen. Is it Jacob Collins?
Jacob Collins TPV, yeah, I believe.
Yeah. Jacob Collins TPV. All one word?
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And then I got a website, www.Baaam.ca. Oh man.
we'll hammer this part out.
My taglines. Take 2.
We'll hammer this part out in post. Oh man, I just want to say thank you again. We're at 1990 Studios. We're drinking beer from Town Brewery. This has been episode 18 of Gabbin with Gavin, and I cannot thank my guest Jacob Rolfe, aka Jacob Collins, the legend, for being on the show today. Thanks a lot, man. This has been a pleasure.
Boys, the pleasure was mine, man.
Hell yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.